Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Infinite Regression. Hey, are you here to waste your life and to possibly feel bad about it later when I call you out on it in class? I don't freaking know what you do, but apparently you're doing it, and I can't stop you. So let's get it over with, as they say. Hey, stare at the Infinite Regression. Know that infinity is much more terrifying than anything finite. Oh, it's scary back here. It's all like, oh my god. Back here, it's the scary business. It's ladies who talk in baby talk all the time and are way overly attached to their very, very, very small dogs. And yeah, they're really, 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 really into astrology, and they want to tell you all about it. Oh my god, that's scarier than dentist clowns. Anyway, hey, guess what 'tis, nerds? Huh? Nerds. Wait, move that over. I know how to make the show. Hey, it's Riff and Craft with Rem Pemberton of the Clemson Pembertons. That's right. It's me. I'm your host. I am the Rem of Pembertons of the Clemson Pembertons. Actually, here's the dumbest thing that ever happened to me in my entire life. I had a student ask me if I was Rem Pemberton of the Clemson Pembertons, and I was like, yeah, that means that you have seen one of these videos, so you are wasted your life. And he'd be all like, can I have your autograph, Rem? And I was like, ugh, God. And so I signed it. Hey, the fun part is he might hear this later and be like, I did do that. I'm getting mentioned on the internet. And he won't be mad about the part where I was like, you are wasting your life. Anyway, hey, here's the theme song.
This has always been the theme song. This has always been the theme. This has always been the theme song. This has always been the theme. Cha.
Yep, it's the cha. Oh, jeez. It was much earlier in the day when I set out on this adventure. Anyway, so we're here. We're in the forest of whatnots and who gives a crapsels. Anyway, and we are getting some darkened wood. Why? Because I decided the other thing that I was thinking of doing was like, no, thank you. No, thank you, good sir. No, thank you, good sir. I shan't have another. I shan't. Which is, what's funny about shan't as a contraction is that you're all thinking the same thing. You're thinking that it sounds like I have done something terrible to my pants. But I have not. It's just a contraction of shall and not. Shan't. Because, anyway, oh my God, people. I didn't invent words. I just know how to use them. And so, yeah, I say shan't sometimes because I'm a gentleman and I know how to use words. As a matter of fact, I'm a professional word user. That's right. That's what it says on all my business cards. Anyway, yeah, it's true probably. How much of this am I going to need? Well, we'll get some now, and then later on we'll know if we need more, won't we? I'm just, getting some while I can get some. Anyway, hey. So today is Freya's Day, as you well know. You know it's Freya's Day. You're like, man, Freya, that's my favorite of the Norse gods. She's a goddess, yes, I know, but let's not... Why do you make me stick to just the gender when I say Norse god? Why do you... Oh, you want me to pick Odin? You want me to be boring and predictable? Sure, I'll play your game. Oh, and my favorite my favorite god of the Western religion, of modern Western religion, is Yahweh. Oh yeah, that's a real firecracker choice right there. So different from everybody else. Who would have known that someone would be like, you know who my favorite god is? The one that a lot of people in America like. Oh, goodness. Uh, that's right. Um, okay, I'm gonna sleep in here. Oh, apparently she did more loom weaving and also some more freaking killing of uh the pillagers. Oh, that's fun. That's not. Like, what if that were true? This makes me want to mine down and see if there's like a pressure plate with TNT under it. Oh, I should make a pressure plate with TNT under it. Anyway, and I might add regardless. So we're gonna come over here to this pointless monstrosity. Oh, let's build a pointless monstrosity. And let's talk about, our week and how we've been. Certainly have been better. I've been much better than I am currently, and that's, it's not your fault. Hey, don't blame you. Don't let them make you blame yourself. I know how they do, making you blame yourself when you know how you've been, and I know how you've been anyway. Regardless. Okay, where is it? There we go. Gotta get up there and, knock down all of the... I don't even have a pickaxe of any sort. And I think if I'm not... I don't know for sure. But it's entirely possible. And just, stay with me here. Play with me. Here we go. And I know, wait, why would I take the one that has 64 like a dingus? Anyway, yeah, I'm going to be mean to myself under my breath so the audience can't hear. Hey, you think you're so smart? You're not that smart. This is freaking ridiculous. How dare you? How dare you, good sir? You're full of nonsense and whatevers. Go to church. Oh, goodness. Yeah. Hey. So, yeah, I survived what had been a very rough, lengthy, tedious, nonsensical, bullcrappy, awful, horrific, horrendous, astonishingly bad, and just god-awful week. I've never considered the phrase god-awful, but, we have Godspeed, for instance, that we all know is 1.2 million kilometers per second. That's Godspeed. That's how fast God travels. Yep, it's true. He's very quick. He's like the Flash, but he doesn't save people. Anyway, hey, who's that? What are we doing here? Making fun of people's belief systems? The belief systems held by people that we know might actually listen to this? Oh, yeah, sure. Yep. Doing that, getting that done and over with. Also, this will play into it this week of people not grasping the concept of joking. Now, there's a type of joking that people do when they're like, hey, can't you take a joke? When it's a bully sort of, this the sort of thing you say when, you meant to hurt someone and then they start, crying or something. and you're like, hey, just in case anyone thinks I'm the bad guy here, I'm just going to put it back on the victim. You know, like, that is a terrible move, and anybody who pulls that ought to be ashamed of themselves starting now. Anyway, before that, you didn't have to. Yeah, by law, you didn't. It just passed the new law. It just went into effect tonight at 10:42 real actual frick time, because Arizona doesn't play your stupid, like, we're going to wake up earlier by all setting our clocks backward. How about you just start earlier? Like, you don't need to monkey around with the concept of time. You don't need to turn the clock. How about just decide that a work day, instead of from 9 to 5, is from 8 to 4? How about you decide that a school day, instead of being from 8 to 3, is from 7 to 2? Like, do you see how I did that without monkeying around with a clock? And guess what? It's not about farmers, you stupid dingus. It never has been. And farmers are like, what the frick? Why would we want to monkey around with time? Like, it doesn't affect when we get up. Like, I worked on ranches and stuff back in the day. And, oh, shroom light. I didn't even know that was a thing. Anyway, so, yeah, back in the day, I used to work on ranches and stuff. And, yeah, so, those existed. And, like, they did. How dare you doubt the existence of ranches? That's of all the things to doubt, I think is, very well established concept. Anyway, so yeah, I did. I used to work on ranches, and with a lot of ranching, there's also a lot of alfalfa farming is the one that you will see quite a bit of, because growing the feed for your own animals, hey, who wouldn't want to be that smart enough to be that guy? Oh, this is, I'm already finding this tedious, and so should you. What are you gonna watch me, like, lay a checkerboard pattern across this ceiling? Wait. I better make sure, and this is gonna piss me off if I don't do this. Oh, I am lined up according to, yeah, like, lit, non-lit, lit, non-lit. Yes. Okay. We are doing it correctly. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about this freaking week I've had. Okay. And a lot of this is freshman nonsense, and this is just, I'm not even joking, but when I interviewed for the job that I currently have, which, interviewed for that job teaching upperclassmen so that I could do that, and teaching honors students who, actually want to be in my class and want to learn stuff, or at least allegedly want to be in my class. Some of yous still allegedly. You know who you are. Anyway, no, you don't. And you wouldn't be watching this if you were. Anyway, so, yeah, the fact of the matter is that a lot of froshy type problems. Well, and other type problems also. Like, here's one that I haven't really talked about, but it's, like, freaking ridiculous. First of all, hey, did you know that the current generation, are they Gen Z? Because, like, I don't give a crap what we call them. Like, nomenclature sometimes is just pure bullcrap. And this is from someone who really cares about words. Like, sometimes nomenclature exists for things that do not need it. Like, honest to God, it's And if you want to tell me like, well, it exists for the researchers who research, age gaps and whatnot. Hey, hey, researchers, you know how you like to use really precise language in your freaking papers and such not? Uh, don't invent new terms. Just continue to call them teenagers born between 2002 and 2007 or whatever. Are people still teenagers if they were born in 2007? Come on. Come on, math brain. Nope. I can't even math right now. I don't even want to math right now. Let's be honest. Like, why would I lie to you, people who might not exist? And also that one guy. Oh, we're going to get off immediately because corners. Well, at least we started right. Oh, goodness. Yeah, I was going to do like glowstone or something across the top and thought that was going to be a good idea. And then I realized how freaking long it would take to get the glowstone. You know what? I'm just going to stay up here until the phantoms start attacking me. Like, that's a reasonable amount of time. Um, Anywho's, it's so yeah, not all freshman bullcrap. Like some of it is upperclassmen bullcrap. Like, so a thing that I have not talked about is that we have these homerooms. They don't call them homerooms; they go by a different name. But let's not use that name in case anybody wants to pinpoint me and figure out like, oh, his name's not Rem Pemberton; it's Clem Snemberlin. Anyway, it's not. Don't go looking up Clem Snemberlin. He does not have a record, and you need to lay off him. He's had a hard enough life. I mean, doesn't exist. I mean, whatever. I mean, shut up. Anyway, so fact is, people, um, when we came back this year, there were certain things that I was very excited about. Like, there was a student of mine, homeroom student, who, like, they just stayed distance. They'd never, well, like, I did not see them as a sophomore at all. And almost all my other homeroom kids I saw at least some of the time, enough to be like, hey, you still exist. Congrats on that. That's not nothing in this freaking year. I mean, it'll be funny if we ever go back to normal to listen to people from 2020 and 2021 be like, oh, this post-apocalyptic hellscape that never ends, and like, we know how humans are. Like, not only, like, okay, here's the fun part is that my students will make jokes about 9/11, which, to me is like, wait, is that allowed? Which is funny because, like, of course it's allowed. Like, why wouldn't it be allowed? You could joke about anything. And this is the important part, as long as the joke is funny. So, Jason, when you've got some funny material, I will be more than willing to hear your wildly offensive humor. Anyway, yeah, I'll love to hear all those jokes that include your actual real views about various minorities. Anyway, hey now, here all week. So yeah, tip your waitresses and don't forget that Clem Snemberton, not a real person. And why would you? Don't even look into that. Like, it's not even look into itable. I made sure of, like, no, it's like, whatever. Shut up. Anyway, hey. So here's the thing. Like, I went to the same college as my little sister. Isn't that sweet? We went to the same college at the same time. And she was a terrible little sister because she always knew who had a crush on me, and she would never freaking tell me because the girl code. She'd be like, someone likes you. And I'd be like, who? I'm very dense. You need to tell me. I'll never figure it out on my own. And she's like, it should be pretty obvious. I'd be like, I don't know which of these girls that I'm not currently making out with would like to do that, because I also would like to do that. So and then she'd be like, no, I can't. I was told not to tell. And it's like, well, do you like me or don't? Like, I've got a tongue that I want to put inside someone's face hole. That, because I'm a romantic, ladies and gentlemen. A romantic. I take care of my lady type friends. I'm like, hey, lady type friends, you want a tongue inside your face hole? From a gentleman, I'm saying. I wear a cummerbund while I'm doing it. Like, you know that. You know that. And the whole time I'm like, hey, is my tongue making you happy when I put it inside your face hole? No, the main face hole, not the ones on the sides or the two near the top, because they're full of eye goo and whatnot. I don't play that. Anyway, so what I'm saying is, like, first of all, against all odds, some freaking girls were like, yeah, I like his vibe. It's like very normal. And then my little sister knew about it, and then was like, nope, not telling. Anyway, so here's the fun bits that I've had to put up with, because I don't know if you know this, but sometimes girls, and be sitting down, no, not pee sitting down. I mean, yes, that is a girl thing, but like, that's not, we're not talking about urination right now. Oh my God, this guy with his weird, like, he like a bit too into it. He's like, we're talking about being sitting down. No, we're talking about being sitting down. You animal. Anyway, yeah, I'm trying to, my part of my audience is animals. You know that by now. You hear them howling and scratching at the door. Anyway, and one of these times I'm just going to be hauled off into the night, never to be heard from again. And that will be the end of Rem Pemberton of the Clemson Pembertons. If ever this channel goes dead, don't assume that it's because I lost interest in it and was like, do that again? No, frick you. Do not have interest. Assume that it is instead because I was carried off by animals who double as fans, or fans who double as animals. Or maybe furries, I don't know. Like, I get dragged off by furries and I get really into the lifestyle and I'm like, ow, ooh, howl at the moon. That's how, like, I just imagine myself at a furry convention. Because, you know, like, I tell you two stories about a furry convention. First of all, if you start howling at a furry convention, be prepared to annoy a lot of people in that hotel lobby, because everybody's going to start howling. Like, it's the dumbest thing, but it's also, like, so next time you're in a hotel and there's a furry convention, and first of all, stop and think to yourself, like, hey, what if I had paid the extra $20 a night and I wasn't in this hotel that also doesn't have a problem hosting furry conventions? I mean, sure, it's very conveniently located near the airport, but like, at a certain point you have to ask yourself, is it too near the airport? Because I go out and like a couple of plumbers from Cleveland, one who is dressed like a female, are like, hey, we're gonna yiff later. And if you don't know what that is, do not look it up. I'm ashamed that I have any idea. I don't know. Sometimes the internet is like, here's knowledge that you'll never be able to get rid of. And I'm like, oh, God, get more facts about Mozart or something. Like, holy frick. And the internet's like, nope, it's called yiffing. Anyway, regardless, what a stupid life we lead. Yeah, it's true. So, ladies and gentlemen and ladies, yay, the sun came up again. Anyways, gonna do the thing. Best story about a furry convention ever, in which furries are heroes. Heroes, ladies and gentlemen. You hear me? Like right now, you're like, I am 100% out on furries. You can't tell me anything about furries that would make me think that furries maybe are people that I need to respect, that I need to doff a cap and be like, hey, you in the fursuit that cost entirely too much money. I don't know how much money. I've never Googled it, but like people have told me because I've known people who were like, yeah, they used to be my thing. And I'd be like, how much? Like, seriously, it just sounds like, because I know what a mascot costume costs because, like, you know, you live long enough and well enough and someone yells at you the cost of a mascot costume, like, don't touch that. That costs $1,200. And you're like, oh, I did not know that. I will wait for Minecraft to be invented, then bore people to tears with this anecdote about me knowing that. Anyway, so let's get to the real one, the thing that brought you here that you're like, I swear to God, I've been listening to these 2-hour diatribes, this nonsense, this Rem Pemberton, it's just like chucking out of his mouth as if it were anything that I should be listening to, anything at all. Nay, friends, nay, says I. Anywho's it's, so, yeah. Things. Oh, some of the bench people. God damn it. Anyway, did you know that that's God's pastime? Damning it. It's like what he does the most. Like, because we don't have religious concepts in which they're like, nope, he pretty much saves everybody. And then you're like, well, then why are you a religion? And they'd be like, I don't know. I'm just here to tell you that no matter what you do, he's going to save you. So believe in him, don't believe in him. By the way, we need tithes to keep this church, this building open. And you'd be like, why the frick? You just told me I don't have to, like, I don't even have to be a part of you. Anyway, so yeah, most religions have to, in order to keep the building fund going, be like, yeah, and if you're not here once a week, you will in fact burn in hell. So make sure that you come and you just chuck a couple bucks into that weird little brass thing that they send around. Or if you're Mormon, like fill out the most business-like thing ever. Like in triplicate, fill out a little form so that one goes to the corporate office, one stays with the local office, and the other goes to you for your records that they assume you keep because they're like, we're a very corporate entity. Anyway, what? How many churches you know own a mall? That's what? This is well known. Thus saith the Lord, let's go shopping. Oh, my goodness. What a time. Hey, furry convention and why you love them and why they are the heroes of this and potentially many other stories. Um, I myself not a furry in spite of everything that you may be thinking right now. Not a furry. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Doesn't appeal to me. And in my real life, in my actual persona, have a last name that is the name of a mammal, a type of mammal. I kid you not. I am named after a mammalian mammal animal. And yet, even I am like, why would you dress up like a freaking animal? Like some sort of mammalian species. I don't get it. Do they have reptilians? Oh, don't Google that. Like, because it'll be called like yupping, and they'll be like, yep, we do that. And you'll be like, oh, I wish I didn't know. The Oh, by the way, do yourself a favor. Do yourself a favor and Google tortoises mating. I know it sounds ridiculous, and I know you're thinking like this guy might not have the best ideas, but I'm telling you, this one is gold because if they are small tortoises, like, did you know tortoises vocalize? That they make a sound with their mouth? Because, you wouldn't think so because you don't hear tortoises going around all the time being like, hey, and then I told her the other day, hey, where my money at? And then she's like, I don't have your money. So I slapped her very slowly, very slowly. It didn't really hurt her as much as I intended it to. But more than anything, she got the message. She knew I meant business. She knew next time it'd be a lot more than a slap. Anyway, because turtle pimps. Why do I have to explain everything to you? My God. Anywho's, it's anyway. Yes. So, yeah, let's finally, God, quit distracting me with your nonsense about turtle facts. I was going to tell the story about why you look up to furries, but then I remembered that I was going to give a solid promo, like perhaps too solid a promo, for the concept of watching tortoise mating videos on the interwebs. But yeah, just get a load of this noise. And I mean this noise. So tortoises do in fact vocalize. They do. And so they totally vocalize, and not only that, but there we go. The sound of them vocalizing will differ based on the size of tortoise that you're dealing with. So when you Google tortoise mating, you might find a couple of Testudio horsefieldi, the horsefields or Russian tortoise. Yeah, that's right. You came here to hear someone know the Latin names of tortoises. Anyway, it's true. Oh my God. Sometimes, like, I'm just walking around head full of information, and then all day students are like, please don't give any of that to us. It looks like a burden. And I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, you know what? You might not be wrong. Maybe don't get any of this. Look what I've become. Anyhow, so yeah, the size of the tortoise. You got two small Russians who, when they are fully grown adults, tend to be no more than like 4 to 6 inches across. They tend to be fairly small. Anyway, beautiful, fun, absolutely lovable tortoises. They are a hibernating species. Anyway, you came here for factually accurate information on on tortoises. Anyway, don't feed them. Don't put too much fruit in their diet. I know that you can feed them monkey chow to like supercharge their growth, but that's not necessarily that healthy. There's a difference between what makes an animal grow very fast and what is actually good for the animal. Leafy greens, lettuces are absolutely fine. Just try not to give them too much of the romaine, because, some of the bench. Yeah, try not to give them too much of the romaine. Surprisingly not as packed in vitamins as, say, your green leaf lettuce or your red leaf lettuce, which you should mix in. And as long as you get to them young, they won't be too picky about it. You get them when they're older, they'll be really picky about it. Also, kale, they should be getting occasional kale, even though even some tortoises are like, this tastes like buttholes. This tastes like a hippie's butthole. Because if anyone knows what a hippie's butthole tastes like, tortoises. Am I right, ladies and gentlemen? You know I am. You know I am. There's no way I'm not right about tortoises knowing the contents of the hippie butthole. Anyway, so when they are small, like your Russian type tortoises, when they are mating, their vocalization is really teeny tiny. It's like, ah, ah, ah. And like, okay, when you look at the biology of many species, you realize that biology is quite cruel. It leaves me questioning the existence of a benevolent creator in this here universe, given how, like, I mean, my God, we try to make life better for human females, and we're still like, there's still people who are like, hey, I'm a senator. What if we don't? Like, what if we refuse to make life better for women? Because I'm busy taking my pants down and making life worse for individual women one at a time. Anyway, looking at you, Matt Gates. So, and your giant forehead. Like, how are you technically a human when you look Cro-Magnon? Anyway, yeah. Um, he does. Just like, honestly, Google his face, picture him in a singlet made out of like leopard fur, and like, right, you know I'm right. Anyway, so yeah, little teeny tiny of the tortoises will make the little teeny tiny sounds. And here's why things suck for the females. In many species, the female of the species is smaller. Why? Because she often does not want to mate. Because for many species, like human women, are actually very lucky that that built into their system is the ability to actually really enjoy sexual encounters, because not all females of the species have that benefit. A lot of them have the exact opposite. And so, anyway, uh, oh, dang it, come on, man. Yeah, male tortoises are bigger so that they can hold the females down and mate with them even if they didn't want to mate. Newsflash, a lot of rape culture in the animal kingdom. Sorry, it's the way they're built, a lot of them. And I swear to God, if someone hears this, it is like, rape somebody, then use the biology defense. Like, I will find you, and I won't do something as terrible as rape you. I'm not a freaking monster, but I'll punch you right in the nose. Anyway, so because for most of us, that would be a pretty mean thing to do. But you, with your like freaking overachiever status of being the worst, like, I want to be the worst there ever was. I want to be, when people pull up lists, they're going to look at my face and be like, man, this guy wrecked 17 women's lives. Which, hey, fun fact. I don't know why. Maybe it was a Freudian something. Uh, no, my mother is not in the list, but wasn't 17 the number of women who had allegations of sexual impropriety against our previous president? Which is not to say that people don't have similar allegations of at least like aggressive, like unasked for back rub nonsense, which like is not great. Like, look, if you ever want to give me a back rub, guess what the answer is? No, I never want a back rub, ever. You give me a back rub, it's going to make me more tense, especially if I start getting the feeling that you're going to want one back. No. No. So, all right. Tortoises mating. Yeah, because they rape. Male tortoises, like, get all they lovin's through rape. They don't know any other way. And I'm sorry if, this ruins many a children's book for you, but, like, that's how the tortoises mate. Rape. Yeah, there's a children's song that never caught on. Anyway, so, ladies and gentlemen, if you listen to a fully grown Galapagos or Aldabra tortoise, the number one and number two largest tortoise species in the world, and I could regale you with facts about these tortoises, these majestic beasts, and they are majestic beasts. Like, what other animal do you know has that kind of freaking longevity? And also, think about this. Like, what were tortoises in the days of the dinosaurs? Tortoises, exactly unchanged, the same. And what are tortoises now? Freaking tortoises. Biologically, is a very stable model. It's like... you go to the, used car dealership of animal bodies, trying to decide which one you're going to live in. And, yeah, because this place exists in my brain right now, deal with it. And they could be like, oh, we could put you in a cheetah body, run real fast, die super young. And then they'd be like, or we could put you in a freaking Cadillac of a body, the most like biologically stable thing to be other than a freaking beetle. And no one freaking loves beetles except entomologists, and they're wrong about everything. All of their life's choices, crap. Why are you touching icky, creepy crawlies for a living, entomologist? You could have taken the N out and become something useful. Yeah, he got him. He got him there. It could have been like, lexicographers and whatnots. Yes, which is one letter N off from entomologist. This is so dumb because I'm so far removed from what I was originally going to tell you, which was a story about in which furries are the heroes. Remember that? I have not forgotten. That will still happen. Anyway, Galapagos and Aldabra tortoises, you're much more likely to see the Aldabrans because of the various conservation efforts of the people of, I believe Aldabra is the name of the island where the tortoise is found, because, Galapagos is also the name of the island on which the tortoise is found. So, what the frick am I doing with my life? Anyway, so these giant tortoises, and they are massive. If you're ever at a zoological institution, oh, what's that? No, it's a zoological institution. Oh, frick, there's a freaking creeper in my freaking house. And think about the effects of, like, what it would do to the center if I put... Oh, I hate... dang it. I thought the freaking... jack-o'-lantern walls would be enough to prevent this very eventuality. Yeah, die, you piece of crap. Oh, I was way off. See if I can shoot the Enderman. Oh, probably not. Spider. Yeah, that's weird that it doesn't maintain a more... Yeah, let's see. Let's see if the spider just comes up here and it's like, "Hey, I said no." That's how Minecraft spiders talk. Anyway, back to the front, and I hit the ground running. Never made sense not to live for fun. Your brain gets smart, but your mind gets dumb. So much to do, so much to see. So what's wrong with taking the back street? Anyway, regardless, you dinguses. I'm not here to... like, it's not even that much darker. It's not even that much darker. Ooh. How dare a creeper think about that? This is bullcrap. And I will not be having it. Thank you very much. Okay. Boo. Oh boy. I don't know what to do. I'm at a loss. I was in the middle of saying funny things, but now I'm just sad. Thanks, single creeper. You've ruined everything. Now he's never going to remember that he was going to tell you a story in which furries are the heroes. And now he's never going to make the sound of the mating of a giant freak tortoise. Which I wonder, like, are female tortoises capable of vocalization? And if they were, what would it sound like? Maybe my guess is probably very similar to the males. Anyway, because males do vocalize, and here's the funny thing. We have actually heard one of our tortoises vocalize. The tortoise that we had when we lived in Pima, his name was Gamera, because I know how to name a freaking tortoise. Thank you. All accusatory in my tone. Anyway, so yes, I did name that tortoise Gamera, and one day I brought him some delicious lettuces, probably some green leaf. I fed him a lot of green leaf because he did not like the red leaf and would basically eat nothing but romaine if I didn't, like, force him to eat other stuff. Could never get him to eat kale. He wouldn't touch it. It was ridiculous. It's so good for him, and he's like, no. Of course, it's good for me, and I'm like, the ice cream instead. So I have ice cream in the freezer right now. You don't think I'm going to do that instead of kale? I didn't even buy the kale. The ice cream I've got locked and loaded, ready to go. Anyway, so, yeah, this tortoise one time, he was about 3 years old. So if you know tortoises at all, you'll know that you can't sex them. You can't tell what biological sex they are until they are, usually, and depending on the breed, 3 to 4 years old is usually when you can tell. Typically, you look at the back of the shell, and there are two protrusions, scute-like looking protrusions, and forming a V, either a wide or a narrow V. And the wideness or narrowness of the V will tell you, is this male or female? And, for the genitals and the egg laying, guess which one is female, the wide or the narrow? Anyway, I'll let you look it up in the Wiktionary. We had this tortoise we had just sexed him. He was male, and he started to be aggressive too, which is really fun because, like, you don't think about this, but a male, he was a sulcata, an African spur-thighed tortoise, one of the more popular tortoise breeds, which people buy, not realizing that they have the third largest tortoise breed in the freak world. Maybe they do know that, but when they are babies, they are so teeny tiny. Anyway, and my current tortoise, Nigel, is like, we got him at an age that it was probably illegal to sell him at. Like, it shouldn't have been legal if it was, but anyway, regardless, we have kept him, we have raised him. He is very healthy. Nice. Like, a lot of times people who don't know what the crap they're doing raising tortoises in the desert, and you see like shell deformations and whatnot, like, nope, this boy is getting a nice, steady, solid diet, and he is looking glorious in his shell. Also, you flip him over and you'll say female, right? Nope. Nigel is transgendered, yeah, and identifies as male. So that we don't have to change the name, because Nigel's a crackerjack freaking tortoise name. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking like, well, how is that a good name? Just the part where when you go to feed your tortoise outside in the morning, you get to say, "Morning, Nigel. Brought you some lettuce." And if you don't feel like you're in the best children's TV show in the world at that point, I don't know how to save your rotten, disgusting, fetid soul. Don't know how to save it. Don't know if it's worth saving. Anyway, so, ladies and gentlemen, the tortoise I had before Nigel, who met an untimely end, because my children did not understand, that tortoises need to be able to breathe in order to stay alive. And in the heat of the Arizona sun, they put a bucket on him. This is when my daughter would have been 4 and my son would have been 2. And it put a bucket over this tortoise. This tortoise, I've had 3 in my life. Well, no. 4, if you count Turbo. Turbo was our very first tortoise, but we inherited him from someone else. He was always very sickly, and we were always trying to nurse him back to health and whatnot, because he was not always in the best of health. So yeah, it's true. He was not always in the best of health. For a while there, we had to give him shots every day. And I could not do it. My lovely wife had to do it. What a delightful woman who would do that just to try to save the life of a tortoise that we ultimately did not save. but his sickly nature was well established well before we got him, and the person who got him from a who knows what. You think the gun show freaking loophole is ridiculous. The exotic animal show loophole is even more absurd. I mean, Tiger King opened America's eyes and potentially made it worse. Um, Opened America's eyes to a growing problem of narcissistic douchebags, which is a group I may be a part of. Oh my god, my cat has found a moth. I need to go ask her about it because she will absolutely talk to me when she has a moth that she's chasing, so I do need to go ask her. Hold up. Oh, I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, not a waste of time that was. Man, it was well worth it. Okay, so this kitty of ours, we have been raising since she was a kitten. We have 4 kitties because we know how to live. Coincidentally, when we adopted our 4th kitty, took her in off the street, my lesbian friend who's been one of my best friends since high school, she was like, y'all are honorary lesbians now. You did it. You did it. Lesbians would look at you and be like, yup. Like, that's what y'all are. Because with your 4 kitties and your exactly 2 children that you're raising to be very, like, kind and emotionally well balanced. Yeah. Yep, that's y'all are freaking lesbians. Anyway, and I took it as the highest honor that could possibly be had. Because what greater honor is there? The Presidential Medal of being an honorary transgendered person? I mean, that sounds pretty good. Like, but I don't think that's an actual thing. And until it is, we will fight. No, I'm kidding. I don't know that anybody, like, they're like, let's work on having basic human rights first. And then when we can go to the bathroom and not feel like we're going to be assaulted for going into the bathroom just to pee, not to, like, yiff or anything, because don't conflate things. This ain't even the same thing. And don't think I forgot about this story in which furries are the heroes and you will salute them when they walk by next. And also, where are you hanging out that furries are walking by? Because if that is the case, then chances are you already freaking know the story that I'm about to tell you, because you might have been there. Anyway, is what I'm hinting at. I was hinting subtly that I was like, I don't know if the person caught on that I caught on to the fact that they're a furry. Don't worry, your secret is safe with me, sir. Anyway, so, yeah, the fact of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, what was I saying? There was a fact, there was a matter. Oh, we're honorary lesbians. That is true. Yeah. Honorary lesbians. And as I discussed with students this week, I know this is going to sound terrible, but, and my wife was even like, ooh, like, maybe don't say that in front of the kids, which, like, oh, I need to talk about don't say that in front of the kids, potentially in front of the kids, because, like, that's who subscribes to my YouTube channel. Anyway, but regardless, yeah. There we go. What don't we say in front of the kids? I don't remember. Tell me. Tell me. No, you tell me. I wasn't listening. I was talking. Think I could talk and listen at the same time? No, few possess that talent. And certainly not the one talking right now. He's not listening. Oh my God! What if the guy with not the mouth, who normally controls the left hand, was like, "Ha! I got the mouth. Now I'm gonna tell you what I really think." First of all, the guy with the mouth, he's the freaking worst. And to the uninitiated, someone listening right now would be like, the frick is he talking about, the guy with the mouth? And then someone who actually knows what's up and has like read anything on neuroscience would be like, oh, he's talking about like epileptics who've had their corpus callosum severed, and the studies of them when you cover the eye controlled by the hemisphere of the brain that also controls the mouth, and you write questions which cannot be seen by the mouth guy. You just send questions to the not mouth guy in the other hemisphere of the brain. He will write back his answer using the arm that he doesn't control. Oh my God, if you've never known this, your brain is about to implode on itself. It's gonna, it's gonna crumble like a flan that's been, taken out too early and left out too long. Anyway, so ladies and gentlemen, yeah, the guy who does not control the mouth will actually talk about the guy who controls the mouth, and possibly in those exact terms, and be like, my God, I have to listen to this freaking guy all day. He doesn't even know I'm here, but I'm aware that he's here, and it's freaking tedious that I have to put up with his bull crap. I'm over here trying to control vital functions and whatnot. This freaking guy is like, my every thought is a gem because I have a mouth. That is definitely, I guarantee you, if you were to sever my corpus callosum right now, that is what my guy would be saying. He'd be like, this freaking guy, I swear to God. I just imagined for a second that he would nod his head vigorously if he had control of that part of me. But he doesn't. He's got the hand, and he's like, hey, stupid. No, this is me telling my hand, be better at swapping between spot 6 and spot 7 in the hot bar, because like you're very like boringly building a checkered roof. It's what a waste of an episode this is. Anyway, I feel like a wastrel, which is a word we should bring back. Call someone a wastrel, you're really gonna hurt their feelings, or you should. I'm assuming that they know anything about the English language, which these days, maybe not so good of an assumption. Things being what they are. Anyway, if I need Kardashian facts about the Kardashians, people be like, oh, this one has a fake butt. And I'd be like, do you know common Latin phrases that normally worm their way into English? Qui bono, that sort of thing. Tu quoque. Come on, does that, or am I not ringing any bells? Quid pro quo? Like, what? Do you, that's even, it's in a mandatory video, that one. Shoot! Like, just standing here being disappointed in people. Oh yeah, I stand up when I play Minecraft. Wait, what do? Sit? Like someone who hasn't learned lessons from Norwegians? Anyway, yeah, Norwegians, they stand when they desk, they sit down when they pee. Even the men, I have it on the highest authority. You know that's true. Don't go to Wikipedia. You know that's true. Some facts you just know at a gut level, and at a gut level, you know you know that that's factually accurate. If any one of you looks that up on any sort of Google, do Norwegian men sit down when they pee? I swear to God. I swear to God. Actually, I really I really shouldn't Google this. I'm just imagining how the internet works. And I'm like, oh no. If it brings up so much as one image, I'm screwed. Okay. Do Norwegian. No, this is such a bad idea. Men sit down when they pee. A question mark. Do they? Oh my God. What? Oh my God. There's a hit. And it's from Visa Journey. Is this like from the actual, like, is this from Visa? Oh no, never mind. Never mind. Visa Journey. I thought it was going to be from like Visa, the credit card company. But no, this is Visa, like, it's a web board. But why more men are sitting down to pee? A story popped up in Norway. Primary school teacher training their children to pee. Saying, ah ha ha. Why do men in Norway prefer to take a piss in the stalls? Oh my God. I'm falling down a rabbit hole of I was actually right and shouldn't have been. There's no way. There's no way I should have been right that Norwegian men sit down to pee. I just came up with a dumb thing off the top of my head. And I was like, if I Google this, there's no way. 'Cause I mean, you know, there are lots of things that you could Google and you'll be like, there can't be for that. There can't be for that, you know. Okay, I'll give you an example. Let's Google a product. We're going to look for pickled dog nose. What? You better not. Oh, okay, good. Can dogs eat pickles? That's... There you go. Nobody's pickling dog noses. See? Google has just gotten, like back in the day, early days of Google, if there was legitimately nothing, they would be like, there is nothing. You're a moron. You Googled something that doesn't exist. So you either misspelled it and we didn't have a did you mean for it because you were so far off that we're like, I don't freaking know. We're Google. We're not the Lord. Anyway. So, yeah, back in the day, you Googled pickled dog nose, and they'd be like, who pickles dog noses, you jerk? Like, oh my God. First of all, the dog is dead if you're pickling his nose. Let's all agree on that. Because, anyway, and so how did the dog get dead? I don't even like dogs that much, like, or at all. I don't. I'm a cat person. I'm sorry, dog people. Don't get all mad. Don't get bent out of shape. When people tell me, like, I don't really like cats, I'm like, all right, that was me for a long time. So, meh, what am I going to say to you? Anywho's it's. So, yeah. in the early days of Google, if there was nothing, there would just be nothing. But now with the algorithms, they're really trying to figure out the human mind, and they are succeeding in a terrifying way, you know, at least in terms of predicting everything that we're going to want to buy. Oh my God, they're getting ridiculously good at that. Oh, if I go to Amazon right now, I swear to God, if there's something on there that I'm like, I've always wanted one of those. Yes. Oh, wait. I'm signed in on my account where I don't actually ever access where I don't ever access freaking Amazon. I might need to go to this one, but I'm okay. Logged in on that one. Oh my god. Computer mouse that looks like an NES controller. It's made by 8-Bit Dough. Of course it is. Holy smokes. I want that, and it's so dumb. It's like the dumbest thing I've ever seen, and I need it in my life. Holy crap. Amazon, you should be ashamed of yourself. There is no way that you should know that before me. Like, I should find out that I want one through regular means. I don't know, smoke signal from another nerd. I have no idea. You don't know what we do. Anyhow, so read about it in a zine, you know. Check someone's tech blog. Anyway, I get a notification on my Palm Pilot, and it'll be a whole thing. So, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, ridiculous. Norwegian men sit when they pee. Also, I've not made the sound. Look, there are some circles I'm not going to close tonight. There are things that I have done that I've brought back around that I will bring back around. You're going to hear that furry story. You're going to hear the sound of an adult mating freaking Galapagos or Aldabra tortoise. Also, you know what? Let me finish this bit. Yeah, some of the bits, the fact is some of the bits I'm not going to finish tonight. Just going to start things, leave them, and then you'll just go home with a hollow and empty feeling in your pit of your stomach. Wait, go home? Like, who do I think's here? The freaking white people from that other show? Got Chaz, got Clarissa, got Kason, Aiden, Ian over there. Oh my god. Let's all agree Aiden's parents are real canoes of douche. They just were like, hey, you know how there's Jaden, Braden, Caden, Layden, Maiden, Saden, Payden, Raiden, Taden, Waden, Gaden, Vaden, Hayden, Maiden, Layden, and Naden? All of which are very normal boy names that weren't like invented 5 minutes ago. And every parent jumped on board the Aiden ending like freaking kid name bandwagon as if that was a good idea. Oh my god. That'd be like everybody who named their child Michael back in my day, like, because the number of people that I had to be like, this is Mike, this is Michael, this is Mikey, this is Mikey. Like, you just had to have all these variations because, no, like, for real, in my life, I had a Michael, a Mike, and a Mikey. Yeah. There's just too many dudes named Michael back then. Anyway, but right now, like, you name a kid in Caden, Braden, Layden, Satan, Hayden, Faden, Gaden, Payne, Tane, Raiden, Waden. Like, it's all the same freaking name, basically. It's a name that says, my parents think they're clever, but they're not. Like, they didn't just get barbed wire tattoos on their biceps. They went into the tattoo parlor thinking they were the first people to have thought of that. Like, that's The Caden, Braden, Saden, Laden, Gaden, Maiden, Aiden, Payden, Raiden, Taden, Hayden, Baden. Freaking parents. Anyway, yeah, like we thought of this. It was our idea. Anywho, um, so yeah, all the white people in the room now. So let me tell you about my actual tortoise. The one time we ever heard one of our tortoises vocalize, because we have not bought them in breeding pairs because we don't want to add to an already problematic overbreeding issue of sulcata tortoises in the United States. There's just too many of them. There's too many of them, and by breeding too many of them and not informing the public of, what it really entails to own a tortoise of that size, if they're to raise it up correctly, like, the freaking overrun, uh, what's it called? Herp societies, the herpivore societies. They are just constantly overrun with like the saddest sulcata tortoises you've ever seen, fully grown, shell deformations that'll make you weep for a month, because of lack of food, because of lack of any sort of proper humidity. Like it's so sad. It's so sad, these tortoises, and this growing numbers of them are subjected to this because their owners buy them from unscrupulous reptile store owners, and then the people who purchase it from the unscrupulous reptile store owners are themselves unscrupulous, and so they will take this gorgeous living animal whose ancestors walked with dinosaurs, and who have remained so very much unchanged since the time of the dinosaurs. What a remarkable, remarkable species they are. And yet, ladies and gentlemen, freaking these people who are not good pet owners, because if you're going to domesticate an animal, then you should also be ready and willing to make sure that you provide for it. And providing for a tortoise means that you have a provision for your tortoise in your will. That's what that means. For real. Like, you get a provision for your tortoise in your will, because a tortoise that has been well taken care of can live to be, in many species up to 80 years old. There are those that live to be 100. There are those like your Aldabra and Galapagos tortoises, which you won't be able to own as pets, especially the Galapagos tortoises. I need to go cut more wood. Apparently, that's what we learned. But yeah, you are not allowed to own those species, and boop. And so, like, you don't get this same issue everywhere. But yeah, like sulcatas is very sad because these gorgeous tortoises who are so lovely and wonderful and amazing, like I'm like gonna block out the sun over here. Like, that makes this portion of the world seem very grim. What am I gonna do? It does cast a real shadow. maybe colored glass up there. I don't know. I just like the whole tower, the whole reason, or the whole way that it's built. I tried not to have freaking to where you can see my bed and crafting table up there. You know, even though I have all this space, I don't want you to look from it below and see any amount of clutter. Like that's not my intent. These freaking creepers. I swear to Emmylou Harris. Oh, and then my animals dwell in darkness. Yeah, I can't do what I've done there. I'm gonna have to think on that. That's gonna have to be taken down and then fixed. I already took out what was up there before. I started to do it with glowstone, and then I like spent so much freaking time in the nether, and then went to go install the glowstone I'd collected, and it didn't make it all the way across one side of the cube, but it was like, oh, yeah, maybe that's not gonna work out in terms of efficiency for me to get all that crap. I mean, it was technically much faster for me to grow the pumpkins. Anyway, so ladies and gentlemen, here's the deal with the thing with our tortoise that I was going to tell you. So our tortoise was a sulcata. So my first tortoise was named Gamera. I've told you about him a wee bit. And Gamera, don't worry about where the accent is going. We barely know where it's coming from. So let's stand up on the top of the pyramid and look down. Okay, so now worrying about the accent, you wee woolly wonka. Anyway, no, like the chocolate man. No, not like a woolly wanka. No, woolly wonka. Anyway, it's starting to take a turn for the Russian. Yes, I have tortoise. He make the sound. Anyway, don't worry about it. It's all very normal. This has all been included in the brochure. That if you did not receive, then there are no promises made to you for this or any other trip that you make to a video of mine. Anyway, regardless, offer not valid in some states. See manufacturer for no details whatsoever. Anyway, so ladies and gentlemen and ladies, yeah, I feel like there's gonna be an HOA for this Minecraft server. They're just gonna be like, excuse me, you've received a notification from us. You know, I know what I did, and I know it looks bad, and I should feel bad. Okay, my tortoise, a sulcata. Yes, overbred. Yes, it's a problem. And yes, by me buying one, I am potentially, because I always tell myself, like, I'm a responsible owner, which, like, first of all, evidence, because, yeah, there we go. But my first tortoise was named Gamera. And Gamera turned out to be male. but it got me thinking, like, what if Gamera had been female? Like, that's, it's not nothing. It's totally possible. And so think about the possibility. Because if you give an incorrect name, or a name that is not, like appropriate gender wise for Tortoise, then how's Tortoise gonna feel being all misgendered and whatnot and stuff and things? Regardless, uh, so yeah, my second tortoise I just called, did not ever specifically name him because he died before I would have named him. I was preparing to name him. I was thinking about naming him, and I did not name him because, as it turned out, he died around that time that I would have been getting really serious about giving him a name. Yeah, not that he didn't deserve any sort of name prior to then. I mean, he's a pet. We try to afford him the dignity of a species that has existed since the days of the dinosaurs, largely unchanged over that time. Thank you very much. Yes, we definitely thought about these things, and as I am doing right now, as a matter of fact. So, yeah, I told you no more accents, so I'm doing like my regular voice and whatnot. So, don't worry about what my actual voice sounds like. It's very normal and like whatever. It's like, I'm just a regular guy from around the way. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you probably see me on the elevator, some like that. So like, don't even worry about it. Yeah. So anyway, my tortoise, a sulcata, the African spurred thigh tortoise, was the tortoise that I had, the first named Gamera, which Gamera lived in a very large backyard in a house that we rented when we were in the Gila Valley, and he was very happy. There was a lot for him to do, lots of places for him to hide. Um, he got fed very faithfully every day. In the cool months, we had heating lamps and things for him to help him feel, like completely taken care of in every possible way that a tortoise might want. And so, yeah, except for perhaps just being in the wild, which we can't abide that. Like in my brain, I'm like, but no, you're my pet because human. But also, a lot of animals do not fare well. They don't fare well in the wild. If they've been raised by humans, because they get soft. Humans just provide them with everything, and so they don't develop a lot of the skills that a wild animal would have. Anyway, you know this. I don't know why I'm telling you this. I'm stalling on the bit where I tell you what it sounded like when our tortoise, and then I do the fully grown Aldabra or Galapagos, which, by the way, you could have just YouTubed any of those things by now and had been laughing the laugh that you were going to do, because it is quite funny. But, you could have had that laugh and moved on with your life, instead of listening to me drone on and on and on incessantly. So, regardless, yeah, you could have had someone just tell you, but no. You came for Rem Pemberton, didn't you? So, yes, first tortoise, Gamera. Our neighbors had a ton of pets, and they never kept them in their yard. Like freaking ducks and freaking chickens and dogs, multiple dogs, and like just all kinds of animals, many of which like a freaking goat, like a lot of animals that any reasonable person would be like, okay, we need to have like pens or something, follow the city's leash laws for our dog and, things like that. But they didn't do any of that because they were wildly inconsiderate for so many reasons. Not least of which was the fact that, like, the house we were renting belonged to their family, and in fact was inherited by their older brother, and he, instead of giving it to them, rented it to non-family members like myself. So, yeah, very, I don't know, perhaps like, hey, if you don't let me have the better house, I don't let you have a tortoise as a pet. And like, oh man, you freaking jerk. Anyway, that's probably not how it goes. That's probably assigning too much blame to someone who didn't deserve any. I don't know. I don't know is the thing about it. I'm gonna need. Okay. All right. I'm growing iron. That's what that's called, right? I'm growing the iron. People yelling right now because they've played Minecraft and they're very picky about the words. No, you're smoldering it. It's called smoldering iron. God, look, I know it's called smoldering iron. We both know it's called smoldering. Like, everybody in the room knows it's called smoldering. Jeez, like, give us a break. God. We know it's not called making iron. We know it's not called dispensing iron. We know it's called smoldering. Because you put it in the oven for it to smolder. Anyway, smolder, named after that thing those cute guys do at me when I'm in the park. Anyway, what? Don't think too hard about that last statement. Do not think too hard about it. Anyway, so, yeah, our neighbor's stupid dog was always trying to scratch its way under our fence and dig its way under our fence. And so I was constantly having to, like, kick in attempted tunnels and stuff. Well, yeah, anyway, and there was nothing we could really do about it because, like, landlord's brother's dog, like, how's that going to go down? Like, is he even going to want to talk to him about it? And if he did, how could he not take his brother's side? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's, yeah, anyway, regardless. So yeah, his stupid dog one day, dug a hole and my tortoise ran away. Oh, by the way, someone was digging in my mine. I don't know who it was, but somebody was digging in my mine and they were strip mining in my mine, which is so obviously not strip mined. Like, come on. I have a very persnickety way of doing it, and y'all get after me about it, but y'all should also know that I'm very serious about doing it the way I want to do it. Like, you make fun of me for the thing, but then when I'm like actually all about the thing, you're like, nah, he's probably not all about it. No, I'm all about it. I'm going to make this giant mine. I want it to have nice squared off walls, and I don't need anyone to putz around with it. You come in here and you strip mine. It's some bollocks. Yeah, I said it. Bollocks is a swear word in other countries, but not in America. And so this video remains totally clean, whatever that means. Anyway, um, so ladies and gentlemen, um, yeah, my tortoise Gamera ran away, off into the cotton fields because, you know, and this makes you feel a little heartbroken just being a tortoise owner, because it makes you feel like, you know, you're doing them such a disservice by owning them at all. And that, like, you know, because the thing tortoises do, all tortoises tend to do this. I don't know about every single species, but a friggin' lot of them do this thing where they're like, um, I am, geez, Melise. I forgot what I was going to say. I literally just forgot what I was going to say. Lost it. It's gone. Lost and gone forever. Anyway. Come on, brain. Anyway, I was talking about my tortoise when we lived in... Oh, jeez. I'm going to have to punch this one because my sword's about to break. Yep, there it goes. Yeah. When it comes to slimes, just use your freaking fist. Like, no need for anything else. It's pointless. Pointless, I say. Anyway. Regardless, and it makes you feel strong and mighty, like a strong and mighty man of the Lord. And when I say the Lord, of course, I mean Emmylou Harris, the one and only true God. Anyway, hey, that's, you have your beliefs. I have something which I may or may not believe, but I'll never let on. Woohoo! So after our first tortoise ran away, well, which was really our second, you know, because Turbo, our first sulcata ran away, and we bought another one, because we were sad about the first one, because, like, it wasn't really our fault. Like, we felt like bad tortoise owners, but, like, it wasn't really us. We were renting the house, and so there was only so much we could do with the yard. And you know, and when the landlord's brother is the one who is causing you any troubles whatsoever that might result in the loss of a tortoise, like, yeah, what are you gonna do? Anyway, I mean, it didn't have a lot of options back then. We were considerably poorer than we are now. Anyway, so yeah, thing is, we bought another one almost right away, and I started calling that tortoise the guy. We just call him the guy. We never specified, like, you know, male or female or anything, and I was just, you know, prepared, because, like, a lot of times we just call tortoises the guy. Like, even, you know, Gamera, we would be like, hey, you gonna go feed the guy? You know, and we would just say it like that because, you know, that's how we talked about our tortoises, the guy, you know. And so I was thinking with the second one, like, wait until, like, have a name for male, a name for female. I don't remember what my names were. I was just barely starting to think about it when my children and my wife swears that she thinks that they were protecting the tortoise, and I don't give them that much in terms of like good intentions. I think they were just screwing around. I think that the screwing around went wrong because sometimes when you're screwing around as a kid, like it doesn't go so well. You know, you would wish that it would have gone much better, but it didn't. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know. So, things and words and words and things. Yeah, our second tortoise accidentally killed by our children, who may or may not have really known better at the time. Hard to say that they did, because like I don't know, I don't know if a kid knows that you can kill a tortoise by putting a bucket on it. And the death of that tortoise made me so sad. So sad. I remember because she was getting pretty big and you had to hold her with two hands. And my wife one day brought in her limp, lifeless body. And I was like, well, maybe she's just really dehydrated. What if we, keep her in and give her food and water and see if she comes around, But she was dead. And that's still thinking about it traumatizes me. And I felt like such a terrible pet owner after that, because like I had always tried to be part of the solution rather than part of the problem, buying a tortoise, but like also understanding what it means to buy a tortoise, having provisions for like what is going to happen to the tortoise, because I will probably die before this tortoise does. Like what are going to be provisions in a will, things like that. I'm serious about this. I'm not just small time hobby in this. I'm like seriously because I didn't used to like cats or dogs. Used to be only reptiles, you know, and especially tortoises. Used to not give the faintest crap about cats at all. I had more cats that I had hated in my life than I had even remotely liked at that time. Came around in a big way. Took a big gray guy named Ash to, break down those walls. Yeah, because you came here for potential hilarity, and now you're listening to a man talk about like his affinity for the feline. Oh, and he's got a feline right next to him who's got a soft tummy. Oh, oh my God. I wish any of you could feel how soft this kitty's tummy is. I am, in fact, rubbing a kitty's tummy right now, and she's looking me dead in the eye and knowing that she enjoys the crap out of this right now. She's like, yes. About time you noticed that I was sitting here with my tummy ready to be rubbed. She like put a leg over my arm to be like, nope, keep doing that. Anyway, so ladies and gentlemen, yeah, so that death hit me especially hard, and I really stopped and thought, and I was like, maybe I'm not going to be a good tortoise owner. Maybe I need to come to terms with that and, realize like maybe I want to be a good tortoise owner, but I'm not. So like, freaking deal with it. You're not what you think you are. You are what you are, and what you are is not good at this. And I was fully prepared to accept that possibility. So I told my wife, like, I don't even want to think about buying another tortoise until the kids are old enough to really um, be able to take a part in pet ownership, like the feeding and the caring for of a pet. Because, like, when you're, what is it, 4 and 2? Yeah, 4 and 2. When you're 4 and 2, you don't really know what it takes to care for a pet. Like, you don't. Um, yeah. So, our current tortoise we would have gotten when they were 10 and 8, which is a much more reasonable age. So, from 4 and 2 to 10 and 8, 6 years. Let a kid grow up 6 years before you go buying another tortoise. But a tortoise that is guaranteed more than the previous one to need care after your death, because, like, you are so much more likely to die. You're 6 years more likely to die before this tortoise. So, definitely have those provisions in your will. Yep. How you think I spend my free time, fool? Anyway, making tortoise provisions in my will because I'm a real gangster. Like, think I'm gonna let my tortoise starve after my untimely demise? What kind of G do you think I am, fool? Like, I can get loco when I need to, but I'm not freaking crazy, okay? That's what you're talking about. This is freaking crazy. Anyway, so we wait 6 years and we get Nigel, who's our current tortoise, which, as I told you, was sold at what, if there are guidelines on such things, should be an illegal age to sell a tortoise, because they are, they're still very much in need of, like, high level nourishing and, like, care. They need a higher level of care. They just do. And so, yeah, we got this guy, and we took really good care of him because we were able to, and our children are able to pitch in with that, which is a good thing, and they understand. They each have a bearded dragon. Those bearded dragons have been taken care of, and they have gotten quite large, very healthy. So that's fun. Nice, big, healthy bearded dragons. Oh, so much fun to have those around. And yeah. And we got 4 freaking kitties. And this one, and this little cart next to me, has the softest tummy. Oh, and she's wanted me to rub it again. Oh, she wanted me to rub it again. Wanted me to rub it again. Bump, bump. Wanted me to rub it again. La, la. Wanted me. You know the song. I don't have to sing you the entire chorus. It's the song you already know. It's called Castles in the Sand. You ever love it when, like, a song has a repeated lyric that would seem an obvious choice for the title? And it's like, That's when I say I love you. And, they say that like 47 times in the song. And every verse is like, and when times get tough and you look so sad, that's when I say I love you. And like, and it starts to be like, oh yeah, this is a total song that like is definitely 100% called And That's When I Say I Love You. And you look at the album, or like anymore, it's like you look at what Spotify or Pandora has chucked out at you, and you're like, what? Pieces of Night? Like, what the frick? The frick does that mean? You're like, how is that song not called And That's What I Say I Love You? Like, sure, Pieces of Night, maybe like the name of the song is That's When I Say I Love You, parentheses, Pieces of Night. Like the Pieces of Night is in parentheses so that people can read that portion of the title and be like, ooh, I wonder what that means in context of this song about And That's When I Say I Love You. Like, yeah, I have to explain all this to everyone because they don't know. Like, people just don't know proper song naming etiquette. Like, I've heard your mixtape, sir, and you've got entire rhymes being busted about, the difficulty of being a young G on the streets. And then I see the title that you selected for yourself, and it's not, the difficulties of being a young G on the street. It's like, hey, curse word disrespect to women. And it's like, wait, what? Thought we were talking about your struggles and whatnot. Now, like, you adding to the struggles of another human. Like, what? Why are we doing this? Like, women have had a tough time, and I know that like your people especially, like, why don't we just talk about like maybe one of the women in your community and like how they be and whatnot. Like, I don't know why you gotta be nah. Okay, I was not listening to myself for the past minute and a half. And when I started listening, I was worried that what I was saying all of a sudden was racist in nature. And like, look, I know that like everyone has an inner racist and we all need to acknowledge it. And yes, that's the thing. And we can't get better and have the conversation we need to have unless we acknowledge that there's an inner racist and whatnot. But no, like, I'm not talking about that. Like, I acknowledge that, and I'm like, I love to have that conversation, but because I want to know what my blind spots are. But like, that's not what I'm talking about. So specifically not. I'm talking about like, did I go racial there a second ago in a way that was inappropriate given the race that I was going and the race that I am, is offensive? I don't know. Is maybe offensive to me the day later. Hey, how about this? If it's offensive to me the day later, I'll comment about it in the comments and I'll be like, I'm sorry. Or tomorrow I'll be like, wait, now that I'm listening to this in the stone cold light of day, I'm realizing that my concerns, at the nighttime when I may or may not have been, enjoying my freaking weekend because it's my weekend, dingus. I need to tell you about the crap I've been putting up with. Anyway, but I'm so far from that because first, what do I got to do? Got to tell you about these tortoise sounds. Yes. We try to be responsible tortoise owners. Now we have Nigel. What the frick, mouse? Are you possessed by demons? Mouse, are you being possessed? Oh my God. 02 is on the freaking mouse pad. This is a 02 from Darling and the Franks mouse pad, because of course I have one of those. Like, shut up, first of all. Second of all, she's in her military uniform, so it's not like one of those that's like, grab me by the butt handles, like, those exist. Those are, in fact, the first search that comes up when you're like, yes, I would like to have a mouse pad featuring this girl. Okay, I need to stop this. This is epileptic inducing. Like, people are going to have nightmares about how my mouse was shaking involuntarily. I had no hand on it, and it was like, hey, do you think your audience would enjoy it if it looked like your video card was made out of ghosts? Anyway, my video card not made out of ghosts. It's made out of the blood, sweat, and tears of Asian children. What, are we not saying the quiet part out loud anymore? I thought we all decided to say the quiet part out loud. The part you're not supposed to say, but we all know is true, and we're not, it makes us sad to even think about it, but like, somebody's got to say it sometimes so that we all know that, like, we are all participating in this crime willingly, right? Anyway, oh my God, people. Yeah, I'm going to want to wrap this up before too long. I really am. So let me get to some points. Are you going to be epileptic? Oh my God. I'll just try to mine and talk at the same time and keep track of what I'm supposed to say, which I've not been particularly good at previously this evening. Anyway, so yeah, we got Nigel. Then she developed very quickly and very nicely, and to the point where we could tell that she was a she and not a he. And so we just decided to tell everybody, like, yeah, actually, the pronouns are he, him, and yeah, they identify as male, so, like, be sensitive to that, please. Anyway. So, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, yeah, now we have our current tortoise, but the story I'm about to tell is about Gamera, the one who ran away because of our neighbor's stupid dog. He wouldn't have had a way out of that fence if it weren't for our neighbor's stupid dog. God dang it. Because even with the burrowing ability of sulcatas, which they have very excellent burrowing ability, sulcata burrows go straight down. Well, not straight down. They go down at like a 45-degree angle, and they do not resurface on the other side. So, would a sulcata have dug away under the fence and gotten out by themselves? It's doubtful. It's extremely doubtful. Like, as a matter of fact, it's not happening right now on a daily basis with Nigel, who has one of the deepest burrows of any tortoise we've ever had, and yet, is not going to be popping out on the other side, because 45 degrees down does not pop out on the other side unless you dig a long freaking way. Anyway, so yeah, our tortoise, the original tortoise, the one who ran away, he was our biggest tortoise ever. He was the largest that had grown. He was about 4.5 years old, but he was very big for his age. And the funny thing was, he had started, like, he knew me and he loved me because I brought him food every morning. But like anyone else who came out into that yard, he would attack their feet because he's like, no, this is my space. No, this is mine. I live here. Get the frick out. The only guy who gets to come out and hang out with me is that fool who brings the food. And he better not get too touchy-feely because, like, I'm going to pull up inside my shell. And he knows that that's, like, potentially prior to ramming him. So, like, maybe he's gonna think hard before he does something like that. Which, yeah, you gotta be careful. They will ram you and stuff. Anyway, yeah, he would ram everybody except for me. Like ram them in the ankles because that's how big he was. That's how tall he was. It was like ankle tall. And anyway, so yeah. My wife started hating it because she'd just go out there and he'd be like, bam, 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 like, hilarious. So yeah, one day I brought him out a plate of food, and he stopped trying to attack my wife. I think that's why I brought the plate of food. But yeah, I brought out the plate of food, and he got very excited about it, which, like, if you've never seen tortoise genitals, oh boy, consider yourself lucky. It's it takes a stiff drink to be able to stare that in the eye. Anyway, terrible. But yeah, so the tortoise, at first I was like, oh no, what's happening to him? It looked like something had gone horribly wrong with him medically. This is what it looked like because his penis was becoming aroused, was becoming erect. And because you can't freaking see it. It's not even visible when he's not aroused. You cannot see it. It does not dangle on the outside at all. And then he becomes erect and, like, it's as long as him. Like, it's really unsettling. And also it's like oddly shaped and stuff, and brighter colors that you'd think would be on a dull colored tortoise, with their desert shell colorings. Anyway, so he's eating this lettuce and he becomes very aroused and is like, eh, eh. Because he was getting somewhat larger. And so it was like, Michael Jackson being very proud of a moonwalk, And then the best, oh my God, tortoises, Aldabra tortoises mating at the zoo. I kid you not, this is what it sounds like. It's seriously like, because you'll look over and you'll see exactly the same number of neck flaps as you would expect to see if it were old people just doing it at the zoo. But no, it's tortoises, and your brain wasn't prepared to hear and look over and to think like, oh yeah, tortoises. Of course it's going to be tortoises when I turn my head. When I've heard that sound at the zoo, yeah, tortoises every time. Like, and then you turn your head and you're like, nope, nope, tortoises. That accurate on the tortoises. Uh, anyway, yeah, if you get an opportunity, to see Aldabra Galapagos tortoises during mating season, or to perhaps, just hit it up on YouTube and search it and find it. You'll be like, oh, that thing he would talk about. That's freaking hilarious. And indeed it is, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed it is. Anyway, so, yeah. You had like, ah. Then you had, oh my God, my cat is so weirded out right now. Okay, if I rub her tummy, all right, she's back to being okay with me, but she was giving me a look that was like, we do not like what is happening right now. We do not accept it. Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, a story about furries. We're going to close on this. This is our big closer. We've, like, told you this was going to happen, and you were like, how the frick could that be possibly true? And you're going to hear it, and you're going to be like, oh, my God. Of course. Anyway, so, yeah, here's the thing. If you remember, over the last several years, the population of Syria has been largely displaced. A lot of refugees fleeing to other countries because of terrible conditions in their native Syria. And, the whole international community, with the many debates about like, oh, what should we do with these people? Can we take care of them? Do we have an obligation to take care of them, or should we send them back and be like, hey, you're not from here. We don't have an obligation to you. Like, our obligation is to people who are from here. Anyway, it's the whole thing. It's a complicated issue. But these Syrian refugees, there are a lot of them in the world. There were a lot of them then. There are still a lot of them now. So, yeah. Syrian refugees pouring into the United States, and many other places in the world, especially Germany, because Germany, well, no, not Germany in general, because they have that stupid nationalist, ridiculous, uber right-wing party that like makes you think Nazis. You can't avoid it. They're like, we're German and we're very right-wing, and it's like, yeah, and pretty soon you're all gonna have little mustaches. Like, your coat is a little too brownish for my liking, good sir. Anyway, just saying, people. Okay. But yeah, Angela Merkel took in a lot of Syrian refugees because she knows that refugees become an economic benefit within a very short amount of time of arriving in your country, because refugees tend to do things like open up shops and open up restaurants and run small businesses, the backbone of freaking America's economy and stuff. And like, there's immediate benefit to having these people in your country. I didn't invent the concept of that being true. It just is true. So for people who are like, freaking immigrants and refugees, why do we want to take them in? They ain't from here. They ain't born here. They don't like big titties in baseball. Yeah, that's right. I like my baseball players to have big titties. Big old steroid titties hitting them home runs. Anyway, was sorry, did I get too factually accurate and specifically accurate there for a minute? Anyway, so regardless, uh, fact is, Syrian refugees flowing into many places around the world, and yeah, so I don't recall which country this occurred in. I think it was America, but it might not have been. And I'll Google it when I've told you the story. And we'll see. Uh, anyway, so these Syrian refugees, they're brought into the country, and before they're, able to process them and like get them a place to go, as we do with refugees, we have a way of like, helping them get started in their country of refuge. And anyway, so yeah, may have been America, may have not been, but whoever it was, whichever country it was, they put them up in a hotel, because they hotels are good for having beds and having people being able to stay there very short term, without any need for like, lease or contract. So as you decide where people need to go, based on need and based on ability and whatnot, and you're making these determinations for these refugees, like, the refugees are, creating small businesses and like beginning to kick butt, economically for the benefit of the country. And so, like, even though they may not look like us and talk like us, they, contribute to a capitalist system just like us, and as a matter of fact, probably to a greater degree than either of us. So, I am sorry, good sir, with your ridiculous sounding accent, but no, like, I'm sorry. It doesn't matter whether or not refugees look like us and talk like us. Does not matter, because they will be, in most cases. I mean, obviously there are exceptions to everything, but in a large enough majority of cases for it to absolutely be worth it to take these refugees in, so many of them will turn into an immediate economic benefit. And especially right now during COVID, if we want to like turn things around, maybe take in some people that would benefit from being taken in. I don't know. That sounds like something Jesus would do, and that's bullcrap. We don't follow Jesus. This is America. Anyway, sorry. Uh, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, so these Syrian refugees were put up for at least, a few days in a hotel in their host country. I don't know if you call it a host country in their country of refuge. This is what I would call it if that's not precisely what they call it. I'm just, guessing. Anyway, so, yeah. Boop, 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 boop. So yeah, like so many of them are a benefit to their country of refuge. And so it's a really good idea to like be cool with them and stuff and treat them nicely so that, you know, they will want to stay and be a continued benefit and then turn into a generational benefit to the country. Um, could potentially be the case. You never know. You never know. Anyway, so yeah. Uh so somebody was putting these Syrian refugees up in a hotel. And so these are people who literally have just gotten out of a war zone in many cases. Like as they left, you know, mortars were going off and bombs and tanks rolling in the streets and things. And, you know, just terrifying conditions. And, you know, they escape with their children, you know, their children just still alive, but very much traumatized by everything they've seen. And then imagine you're so like shaken by this experience of like being forced from your homeland, the land of your fathers, the place you thought you would always be able to stay in because it's a land that you love, because your people are from there, and that means a lot. And so you never thought you would be forced out of there. And now you're in a host country where you do not speak the local language and you really have nothing to start with. You know, you have no financial assets, you have no physical assets, you have nothing. You are literally starting from nothing. And, yeah. So, imagine being a person in that circumstance and still being put up in a hotel before, you know, the government is able to give you anything remotely permanent for you and your family. So you're staying for a while in a place that was meant to be stayed in no more than one night, you know, and that's where your family is. And imagine how you would feel if, you know, so world weary and road weary from your travels, you arrive in your country of destination, they put you up in a hotel, you know, your hair is falling down, your children are both tugging at, you have a child tugging at each sleeve, and they're hungry and they need attention, and they don't know what's going on and they don't know where they are, and then you see big freaking mascots like foxes and dogs and cats and all sorts of furry animals, you know, in mascot shape. You know, like this is the world's most mascotted theme park ever. And you know for a fact that mascots are freaking a joy and a delight to children, especially those who have been so traumatized and haven't experienced any sort of childhood joy for many, many months. And now they see these animal mascots and they are just overjoyed. They want to take pictures with these people in their animal mascot costumes, and they want to tell them like how grateful they feel. They didn't know how welcome they would be in their new country, but their new country brought animal mascots to cheer them into the country, and they felt so welcomed and so warm from a country who would do such a thing for a refugee. And so, yeah, that's the thing that really happened. And the furries in that story who realized that these freaking Syrian kids thought that they were mascots. These furries who were coming to like drink and yiff. Let's be honest. They were coming to drink and yiff. Which, you know what? If I'm drunk enough, who knows? I'm kidding. That's not true. I have no animal mascot anything. But if I'm drunk enough, no. Anyway, so yeah, there's no way that I would have been the furry in this story, and the furries in this story are heroes because of their ability to pick up people when they were down by using their special identities, their special skills and abilities that make them available to like yiff it in cheap hotel rooms across all the land. Jeez. Okay, now I have to. Well, I don't want to spend time trying to figure out the right Google phrase for like bunch of furries came to have sex with each other in a big pile, but ended up making the freaking year for kids who had not smiled since they watched their childhood best friend leave nothing but the hand that they were clutching as they skipped across the playground, not knowing that a mortar round had gone a freaking awry from the nearby battle scene. Like, ugh, you know, and this kid is just left bawling and holding the amputated arm of their now deceased friend. Anyway, and you know, traumatize a kid. Then that kid sees someone who looks like the coolest freaking Mickey Mouse you've ever seen. And so yeah, you're like, oh my God, this country just has mascots everywhere. So it's like Japan. I got to go somewhere that has mascots everywhere, like freaking Japan. God, we did well. So yeah. Anyway, the furries were the heroes of the story. They were. You can't say that they weren't. Anyway, so was that surprising? Were you surprised that I was able to tell you a story in which very much, without question, the heroes of the story were the furries, and anybody who claimed otherwise is like, no, you didn't listen to what happened. You didn't realize what went down and like how the story turned out and who was like the most selfless and like best among us person in that freaking story. It was the people in the fursuits who had come to drink and have sex in a pile. You know? So, yeah. The furries won. The furries won, ladies and gentlemen. Us regular folks in this round, 0. Furries won. In a lot of the other rounds, us up by a lot. Furries, oh, are we staring down in the barrel of another loss? Furries, I'm sorry. You get used to it when it happens a lot, but it does make it easier to take. Sorry, furries. Sorry. Didn't mean to be so bluntly truthful. Anyway. All right. Well, now that I've told you the story and you've been like Dang, that was a pretty good story. He did say it was going to be pretty good, and I will admit, when he said the furries were the heroes, I didn't think that he would actually be able to pull off that particular concept. Furries were the heroes? What? He did it. He did it, and give him a round of applause. Hey, all you white people in here. Braxton, you didn't even write any of this, Braxton. This was Riff and Craft with Rem Pemberton. I can do my own material, Braxton. Ian, you better promote the hell out of this, buddy. This is some of my best work. When this goes out, you freaking tell the Pope. Tell the Pope to mention it. You know, like Supreme be trying to get like Diddy to wear their shirt so they can sell more of them. And like, yeah, me, I go bigger than that. I'm like, tell the freaking Pope. Anyway, so, yeah, Chaz, I would say you run a decent show, but like, it is a decent show, and you running it has no effect on that one way or another. Anyway, so, I'm glad you're giving me a round of applause because I have not stopped clapping. That is still a thing that's happening. It's going on. Anyway, Clarissa, shut the frick up. Stop drinking so much. Your children are concerned, Clarissa. Your children aged, 9 and 12, they are concerned about your mental well-being because of the amount of alcohol you've been drinking, Clarissa. Anyway, hey, so, ladies and gents, this has been another episode of Riff and Craft, and I hope you've enjoyed it. I know I did, but I am enjoying my weekend. That's what I'm doing. I'm an adult. I can enjoy my weekend. Hey, shut the frick up. Like when you're an adult, you're not going to enjoy your weekend? Get all judgy with me? Like, you're going to be an adult who, like, can enjoy your weekend. And you're going to be like, no thanks, none for me, please. I know I could enjoy my weekend, but that sounds lame. Instead, I'm just going to sit here and watch freaking, the British show about the black guy who's also a duke, but he's got a nice booty. Anyway, your Bridgetown massacres. Anyway, all right, people, I've got to wrap this up. I just keep rambling, and it's bad. All right, that has been it for this episode of Riff and Craft with me, your host, Rem Pemberton of the Clemson Pembertons. It's been Riff and Craft. Hope you've enjoyed it. If not, please send all complaints to Mormonism at anywhere, any which one street, any place in the state of Utah. Don't even need a zip code. The freaking mailman knows where to send it. and we will see you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for sticking around. We'll see you in the next one. Okay. Oh, wait. You're wasting your life by watching this video. I almost forgot to tell you that. For a minute, I said make it sound like a good choice, like you've done a good thing sticking with us this whole time. Nope. Bad job. Get your life in order. Anyway, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you in the next one. Okay. Bye.